Good evening, everybody who's here. Good evening, everybody from home. This is the Mayor and Council meeting in the Borough of Allendale, May 9th, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Linda, will you please call the meeting to order and read the Open Public Meetings Act?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed that the annual meeting are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the May 7th, 2024 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website.
Roll call.
Councilman Delavatio.
Here.
Councilwoman Homan. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Here.
Councilman O'Connell. Councilman O'Toole.
Here.
Councilman Yacarino.
Here.
Mayor Wazinski.
Here. Everybody stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have some fun stuff today. We have some presentations. Our first one's the municipal budget, but I think we're going to swap it around a little bit. Everybody, of course, is welcome to stay for the budget, but we're going to start with the Spring Cleaning Environmental Day Report as the first thing on the agenda.
Yay, Mark, go Mark.
So then after we go through the presentations, then I'll do the agenda review and then we'll have public comment. So come on up.
Thank you for that, Mayor.
Of course.
We do have a contingent from the
I
school
thought they were
here.
all here for the budget.
Yeah, well, they may stick around and find it interesting. Well, Mayor and council members, on behalf of the Allendale Green Team, it's our pleasure to have organized and expanded Allendale's yearly spring cleanup event and to report on our success. Sustainability is our passion, and we take pride in being able to make a positive contribution and serve our community as volunteers. Just as importantly, the success of the event also demonstrates the awareness and enthusiasm of the Allendale residents. Our team members include Council Liaison Suzanne Lovasolo, myself, Steve Rykoff, who's here, Carlton Frost, Pat Finn, Council Member Emeritus Jim Strouch, and our newest member, Walter Widmer, who is also here.
I'm so happy.
However, the team extends beyond our members to all those who have assisted our efforts, and that includes our new DPW Director, Andy. Thank you, Andy. John Gill, Linda Servino, Kim Oliveri, Chief Dillon, and Todd Griffith of the Allendale Police Department, the CERT team, and Fire Chief Bayas. All have responded positively to our requests and contributed to the success of our event. And last but not least, all of the student volunteers who gave their time as individuals, as members of the Brookside Environmental Club, and as scouts. And I can also mention my daughter, Kara, who went through the school system and comes back every year to help at the event. We can say that we've inspired the most senior members of our community, as demonstrated by Walter's recent addition to our team, and also our more junior citizens, the students who volunteered and are in the audience tonight. Going forward, we remain committed to informing the public of recycling opportunities beyond the mandated materials collected curbside, which allows residents to make informed choices and to recognize how to make a personal contribution. We were confident that given the opportunity, the Allendale community would respond to the request for additional recyclables, such as EPS packing foam, and thank you, Matthew, for mentioning that, sharps, needles that were collected by the APD, clothing, X-ray and MRI films, and also the ability to have food compost picked up at door to door in Allendale. Our statistics show that we succeeded in that endeavor. Additionally, we've begun a dialogue with the middle school teacher, Joanne Lynch, who is with us here today, encouraging the school to explore recycling and composting possibilities. We've shared our success with the library by donating our Trex bench, which Nancy Klaus, the new library director, has generously provided a plaque for. And it's out there today. I came and took a picture of it and sent it to Suzanne. Really excited about that. Our displays of compost bins and rain barrels at the library and recycling center are now generating additional orders. Every day this week, I've received another order because people have seen them. We've developed a lasting community outreach relationship with Valley Hospital through nurse practitioner Helena, who's with us as well, to provide sharps containers each year to the APD during the event. Mayor, your initial action to create the Green Team demonstrated your commitment to sustainability, and your continued support provides a catalyst for our achievements. I thank you for that. The Green Team will continue to bring new ideas to the collective attention of this body, and we hope to inspire every citizen to contact the Allendale Green Team whenever they have a question regarding recycling and sustainability. Every item that is disposed of in a responsible manner makes a measurable difference to the quality of life in Allendale and the greater world community to which we belong. I'd like to cite some statistics from the event, if I may. There were 376 vehicles which came to the event.
Oh my gosh.
Approximately 8.4 tons of material were collected. And the public should be aware that every ton diverted from the landfill helps to address the increasing cost of trash collection in the borough. So that reduces the amount that we're sending out. The Allendale Police Department, Todd was there this year. There were two 18-gallon medicine containers and two 18-gallon sharps containers filled, which were approximately 20 pounds. Electronics, there was a collection of 7,571 pounds of material, and there were two scouts there in uniform, as well as another middle school student who manned that collection for the entire event. Also, I identified a new collector so that there will no longer be a charge of $2,000 to the borough. They will do it at no cost and provide the same exact service. I met them at the Sustainability Summit in Homedale. We collected 6,860 pounds of material at the paper shredding event. And I did not see, I was hoping to see the mother and son who manned that event. Oh, there they are. Okay. Good to see you, Yubi. And I don't know your brother's name, Yubi. I'm sorry. Eugene. Okay. Each year they show up on without any prompting and man the shredder. I should say both the mother and the children stay for the entire event and keep it running without a hitch. Helpsy, our new clothing collector, they collected 2,051 pounds of clothing, and we receive a stipend from them of $102 for our collection. Plastic film, there were 34 pounds collected, and they also collected children's books. Unfortunately, they didn't say the amount. They give me a weight, but these are redistributed. They're not recycled. 106 pounds of children's books. I'm very proud to say the citizens responded very well to the call for styrofoam, and they brought material that was clean, no material that should not have been there. And we stored that, thankfully, in Carlton's garage, which is right next to the Borough Hall. We returned last Sunday with a 20-foot box truck, which was nearly full. And we then condensed that material in Richfield Park down to 16 feet and 146 pounds, which is quite a lot of material when it starts out as large as a truck and ends up in little cubes. We had 5 pounds of X-ray films. And we sold 5 compost bins, 1 tumbler, 2 rain barrels. And we had a number of residents sign up to have their compost picked up at their door. Lastly, there was a middle school group that collected $150 for a group called Team Trees. For every dollar they collect, a tree is planted. So, yes, it was quite successful. And I do want to mention the names of the students that are here tonight so that you're aware of who was participating. If you don't mind standing up, Kiara and Seamus and Bruce, are you both here? Bruce is here. Sarah and Robbie, and Michael and Christopher. Okay. And in the back is Yubi and his brother Eugene. So I was very proud, I have to say, of the residents for their participation and of our group for what we accomplished. And we look forward to doing it again next year, Mayor.
Excellent.
Great.
I just want to thank you so much for all the work that you put into it. It was a great success. I just think everybody just saw all of the different stations there, and I have to say it was seamless. Like, you just went in and you went right out. Sustainability is one of the pillars of success for Allendale that we've trying to, maintain. And as you know, starting the recycling how many years ago and changing the recycling, it's
Yes.
constantly changing. You have to stay on top of it. And it's just super important to bring all these young kids into it. So they're the ones that are going to bring it forward. So thank you so much for your efforts.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it, Marcy.
Okay.
Certainly, I just wanted to echo on that, Marcus. I wrote to you last week.
Yes.
I was there all day with the CERT team, and it being my first Allendale Spring Cleanup Day, I have to say it was organized from start to finish.
Mhm.
The appreciation from the residents and just
Yes.
the overall success event. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Mark, I also want to thank you as a very proud team member here. Thank you for your leadership. Your energy just inspires everyone, including these students here today. Steve, I think I saw you come in somewhere too. Steve, thank you for all that you are doing as well for the green team. It truly is it's a fun group. It's a motivated group, and I just want to thank you all so much who are part of that day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to echo, and I'd like to say thank you for all your efforts and your team. And one of the things that blows me away is the volunteers that I see here. I mean, that's what makes Allendale so special. It really does. Where else can you go and you see the community acting like we do with the kids and the parents, and everybody cares? I mean,
Yes.
I'm proud of you guys. So thank you for everything you guys do.
And for the residents to turn out the way that they did. I mean, the numbers are impressive, very impressive. I was out of town, so I couldn't be there, but Tyler actually brought a couple of batteries over for me. So
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler.
My son brought the styrofoam, yeah.
But those numbers are amazing, so
Yeah.
thank you. Hats
Thanks
off to
for
all you
bringing the
guys.
green team back to life.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Bye. All right. So next, sure,
Mind if the children take a picture?
of course. Do you want us to come down or? Oh, yeah, put it down.
You want to get a picture? Is everyone here? Oh, yeah. Might be coming in front here. Show me take it like this, or?
You guys want to come in front? I'm actually, you're probably taller than me.
Thanks, Richard.
All right. Can I move this, or is it movable? No, because it's not enough like space. All right. You guys all ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right, awesome. Yes, took a bunch. Make sure none of you guys blink.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Don't be sorry, it's perfectly fine. You know. Next time we can share that, I guess it's 3 days. Thank you.
I'll know in a minute.
We're all here for the budget.
Obviously, no. Okay.
Long time. Next, we have a very special award. We have our former municipal judge, Harry Norton. Harry actually served as our municipal court judge for 32 years. He was also municipal judge for 5 other towns. I know our current judge, Chris Potter, you were also a mentor to him, he said. And then you also went to law school with this guy over here. So there's lots of connections. So we really want to thank you so much for your years of service to Allendale and being fair and just to all of our residents. And we have just a little plaque here for you if you don't mind.
Oh. Yep, we'll take a photo of them. Tyler will take a photo of you too. Yeah.
Ray, you guys should take pictures.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's probably, I looked around as I came up and laughed. I said, geez, you know, after 32 years, they got rid of me and I mean, really, it looks great.
I got 32 years, they get rid of me.
It's a coincidence.
Right up.
The run literally went in like 3 days ago.
I did the whole thing, painting, everything. But I really wanted to thank you. I'll kind of tell I think it's a somewhat humorous story. I really did not aspire to be a municipal court judge. My background, well, in one sense, it maybe led to it because I was a Bergen County prosecutor for a number of years. And then kind of went into private practice and wasn't really thinking much about doing any kind of municipal law. And I got a call from a friend of mine who used to be a resident here. As a matter of fact, the council, his name is Dominic Preziosi. And Dominic calls me up. It was December 28th. And it was either 1990 or 1991. I forget which of the two. And he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm sitting here. What do you want?" And he says, "I'd like to know if you have any interest in being a municipal court judge in Allendale." And I go, "Well, I've never really thought about it." He goes, "Well, our judge just resigned, and we need somebody, you know, to start January 1st. I said, "Well, give me a 2 seconds to think about it." He goes, "All right, you've thought about it." You know, Dominic lets you know how he would do it. And he said, "So, you know what? You're going to be in. And you're going to get a call from the mayor. And, you know, in about 15 minutes, Mayor Klonberg called me. And he really gave me what I consider to be the greatest piece of advice that I've ever heard from anyone, let alone a mayor, let alone a political figure. And he said to me, he goes, "Listen, I don't know anything about you." He goes, "Dominic says you're a good guy." And he goes, "You can do the job." Because the only thing I want to know about municipal court is absolutely nothing. Because he goes, as long as there are no complaints, then we're doing a great job. And so that was the start. And Allendale was the first of, as the mayor correctly said, 6 towns. And then we kind of got into the Zoom era here, and I didn't enjoy it because I'm a people person and I like having the kids in front of me more than anything else, because I always thought maybe there was something I could say, such as, "Wouldn't you rather be spending your money doing something fun than coming here?" And so I kind of started to think about, well, maybe this would be a good time to end it. So on December 31st, I said goodbye to all 6. But Allendale was the first. Whatever I achieved, and I say this to everyone, is as a result of what occurred in Allendale. The other thing, and the mayor made a funny remark as I came up to accept this very nice plaque. She goes, "Very nice to meet you." And you don't know
I've
how,
never been in court.
you don't know how important that is to have you, as a group of elected officials, allow that to occur. And what I mean by that is in every town that I have been in, and I was never let go by anybody, I couldn't pick the mayor or any of the council members out of a lineup. I didn't know any of them. And I never have done it because I've never been political. I've never been involved in politics.
They try to
But
stay out
that-
of lineups too, Harry.
but that is, you don't realize how important that is, because what you did, you allowed a function of the government, namely the judiciary, to function without any interference. And that is so important in this day and age. And from the bottom of my heart, and you're the first ones, you were, whatever I've achieved, it's because Allendale gave me that opportunity. And I mean that very sincerely. And I've always wanted to thank you, each one of you, and each council, each mayor that has been here. She goes to the same church I do. So, yeah, I mean, the funniest thing is when I met the mayor for the first time, I'm looking, I said, I know you. This is in church. And so at any rate, but and we were both praying for one another, I think. But at the end of the day, thank you. It's really good to see Ray. I really appreciate the fact that you asked me to come a different week when he was here. It meant a lot to me because I've known Ray an awfully long time. Yes, we went to law school together.
Don't fill in the blank on years.
Actually, I think he was a class ahead of me.
Yeah.
And but at the end of the day, so again, I don't want to think I got a lot going on tonight. That's why the water's piled up.
Anyway, Judge, it's worth noting that you married my parents in 1996.
Now you're really making up my.
We gotta go now.
Good Lord.
They're still married, right? No. Well, that, and that was one of the fun things of the job, to be honest. A lot of people, I always said yes.
It's my favorite part.
She gets to do that now, yeah.
I always said yes, and,
I would say yes.
it was always fun and, that kind of thing. You get a lot of nice notes and, it's been a great run. And, as I said before, the only thing that's kind of different for me is I'm still doing my day job. I still work full time and do all I have to do, but I get 15 hours a week back. And if you think about that, that's a lot of time.
A lot of golfing, Harry.
Yeah.
A lot of golfing.
With Ray.
Well, I'm still only a weekend golfer, as much as I, play every weekend. I still just don't get out of the office to do it. But again, thank you all very much. And yes, you're in great hands with Chris Botta. I didn't have to mentor him. He knows what he's doing. And at the end of the day, I'm sure 32 years from now, you'll be honoring him. So
Great
thank
job.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Super. Okay. Next, we have a proclamation in recognition of May 30th as World MS Day. Whereas multiple sclerosis is a disabling neurological disease that can attack anyone at any stage of life. And whereas this disease can cause impaired or double vision, slurred speech, numbness, loss of coordination, remarkable pain, gait issues, and unusual fatigue. And whereas multiple sclerosis is one of the most common disabling neurological conditions amongst young adults in the Northern Hemisphere, with over 2.9 million people in the world having MS. And whereas this disease afflicts almost 1 million Americans and over 13,000 residents of New Jersey. And whereas the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has provided more than $410 million for biomedical research and academic grants during its half a century of history. And whereas the National Multiple Sclerosis Society supplies a wide range of client services in areas of health, education, information, and referral, advocacy, knowledge, and independence. And whereas while research advances have brought us closer to finding a cure for cause of and prevention of multiple sclerosis, much remains to be done, and services must continue to be provided to those who live with the disease. And whereas it is imperative everyone is aware of and supports the ongoing battle to rid our state, this country, and the world of this disease through education, enlightenment, and personal medical awareness. And whereas World MS Day was launched May 27, 2009, with over 200 events in 67 countries, and is an opportunity to raise awareness about MS and to strengthen the network of people living with MS across the world. And whereas the goals of World MS Day are to raise awareness and mobilize the global movement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Borough of Allendale recognizes May 30th, 2024 as World MS Day to recognize the ongoing battle against this devastating disease and the important work of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And I'd like to thank Joe and Jill Walter for bringing this to our attention. Quite frankly, I'm surprised we haven't had it before because we do actually try to bring awareness to all these type of diseases. So thank you for bringing this very important recognition to our attention, and we will make sure that this is on the agenda every year going forward.
Thank you.
So, and if you'd like a copy of the proclamation, we can get you that.
If you could do that, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Can you read it again?
I actually said multiple sclerosis without like tongue tying. That was hard to do. How many times? I know. So anyway, thank you very much. Okay. Next, we have our budget presentation. So I'd like to bring up Rob from Lurch, Vinci and Bliss. He's our auditor, and he's going to go through our 2024 municipal budget.
Okay.
There
Thank you.
You can all stay. It's very interesting.
For the fun stuff, right?
Where's
Fun.
everybody going?
Guys, you're paying for it.
So you know that you're in good hands,
Right.
right? So, all right. There is copies of the budget for anybody who'd like it on the table there. All right. Do we have a presentation? Do we have it up on the screen or no?
We just did the
You just
handout.
handed it
Yeah, I
out.
mean, everybody has a copy of the handout, I think, and it's available up on the table.
Too. I think John put something.
All right. The presentation's online as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, council members, for inviting me here tonight. Just to give you a little background on the budget process, back in April, you introduced the budget. That's basically the beginning of the budget process. The budget gets submitted to the state for their review. They actually approved you a few days ago or late last week, early this week to adopt. So they go through it with pretty much a fine-tooth comb, make sure there's nothing in there that would preclude you from adopting. So once they give you that approval, now you move to tonight to have your public hearing on the budget and then formally adopt the budget. So what this presentation does just goes through what the budget as introduced would be, and obviously there's no amendments, so it's going to adopt as it was introduced. It's probably the easiest thing to do is just go through page by page of the presentation. Starting on slide 2, basically just shows you how your budget is being funded this year from a revenue standpoint. So you have a few different categories of revenues that is being used to fund the budget, and a comparison versus last year's budget. So you could see on there the big increase is in what we call the miscellaneous, and that went up from last year with the American Rescue Plan money. So every government agency in the state got a American Rescue Plan money as a result of COVID. It was really a 3-year process to utilize that money, 2024 being the last year. So you did use some in the previous 2 years in the budget. So now, because this is the final year, you're using the rest of the money in the current year budget. So that's why you see that increase in that miscellaneous. And all the other increases are just regular increases. Your municipal revenue is all your regular just fees and permits, construction code fees, court fees, any kind of other fees you collect. Your state aid, that's money coming directly from the state to assist in your budget. And then the last revenue is your general taxation, which is what's being used from taxes to fund the budget. So you can see on the total, your total budget is at 16.6 million, up from 15.7 million. So about a 5% increase in total budgetary revenues from last year. The second slide basically number 3 slide stays with the revenues, just kind of gives you a pie chart of how those revenues are broken down. And obviously you can see from that the biggest funding source of the budget is from taxes. You get about 7% of your budget, you can see on the bottom, from state aid. So the state gives you some minimal amounts to fund your budget. And that has an increase for a while. This year you got a slight increase in state aid, as did every other municipality. But for the most part, your taxes are really the driver of the revenue side. Slide number 4, this now deals with the taxes that you are collecting this year for your operations. So in this budget, you're collecting a little over $11 million in taxes to fund the budget. And what this slide shows you is that the state has a cap on the amount you can raise taxes each year. And that, what this slide is showing you is that you're actually about $3.4 million below that maximum cap. So really, you'd be able to increase your budget, your taxes, another 3.4 million, and still be in, still be in compliance with the state regulations. Obviously, this budget doesn't do that; it just comes in obviously much more below that. And so that just shows you it's really responsible budgeting. You could raise it a lot more, but you're choosing to, to leave it at that lower level. Slide 5, this goes now to the spending side of the budget. So turning from the revenues to the spending. So this shows you from a kind of budget area standpoint on where the money is being spent. And again, similar to the revenue side compared to last year. So you'll see some increases and decreases throughout there. The big increase you'll see here, again, is under what we call statutory and fixed charges. That is pretty much what the same as the revenue side from your American Rescue Plan. So as you're collecting that more money, you have that more money on the spending side, and you're using that, in essence for COVID-related expenses as they're winding down, and you're also have an increase in the amount you're paying down for your debt this year. Okay, so in 2024's budget, you really have no debt outstanding in the borough. Okay, as a result of the sale of the water utility in 2023, that wiped out all the town's debt. So what you're doing now is as you authorize new debt for capital ordinances, you're using some money in this budget to pay those down before you ultimately take on the debt. So you're authorizing a debt to give yourself the ability to do those projects, but then before you go out to take on the debt, you're basically spending that money down now. So it saves money in the future from actually going out to permanently finance those projects. You're using kind of pay-as-you-go mentality. So that's the big increase there on the spending side.
I think it's also important to note here that public safety, while it's a decrease,
Yes.
It's not that we are not spending money in our public safety, is that we had a whole slew of officers who are making the top tier of the salary decrease and hired younger ones.
Right.
Retirement.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So as those higher salary retire, you replace them with lower salary, so you see that decrease. So yeah, certainly not indicative of a lesser of services, just cost. And then slide 6 is basically the same kind of pie chart as revenues, just spreads it out as far as where the money's being spent this year by your different areas. So you can see there's no one big area there that dominates the budget. The biggest area is public safety at about 17% of your budget, and then about similar 17% in your sewer and solid waste disposal. Everything else is pretty much status quo from previous year. Now, slide 7, similar to what on the earlier slide with the cap on how much you could raise taxes, there's also a limit on how much you can increase spending. So this deals with what we call the appropriation cap. And it's basically saying that the part of your budget that is subject to this cap from what you're spending this year is $11.4 million, and the maximum you are allowed to go up is $11.6 million. So again, similar to that tax levy cap, you're below where you would be allowed to spend in the current year budget. So in those in-cap appropriations, you'd be able to go up another $244,000 and still be within the cap. This budget comes in below that number. Okay, and then page 8, that really now shows you what the result of the budget is as far as impact on taxes. So what you'll see here is this is the estimated tax rate for 2024 based on the municipal, the county, and the school, which are your 3 different tax levies that get assessed. And you can see from last year, you have an actual decrease in your tax rate. And basically what that means is even though you're collecting more money than you did last year in taxes, you have a decrease in your tax rate. And the reason that is because you're doing these reassessments each year, which is really evening out the assessed values throughout the town. So as you are reassessing these properties up to a more realistic market value, the actual tax rate goes down. So the tax rate that's assessed on each of those properties goes down, even though you're collecting dollar for dollar, your budget goes up. You're actually reducing the tax rate, the impact on each individual assessed value. So it's kind of, as you raise those assessments to market value, it spreads out that tax rate to a more reasonable level, trying to get it in line with the market rate rather than, historical assessed values. Okay, page 9, that basically shows you now, as far as when the taxes get collected, what, from a townwide basis, where that money is going. So you can see from a, basically $1 standpoint, 26 cents of each dollar goes to your budget. 63 cents of each dollar goes toward the school, and then 11 cents goes toward the county. So although you collect all the money from taxes, obviously you have to, give the county their share, give the school their share, and then you're left with your share, which is the 26 cents. Okay, and then page 10, that basically now shows you what the impact on this budget is on the average home. Okay, and this is now just the municipal portion of the bill, so this doesn't calculate the school or the county. So just on your budget alone, the average home would pay $4,476 in taxes in 2024 compared to $4,419 in 2023, which results in about a $57 increase. And you can see on the bottom there, that's really the effect of the reassessment, is that your average home is really up from last year. Okay, and that's really why this increase of $57 is there. Whereas if you didn't do a reassessment, the increase would be a lot larger on the average home because you would still be at that same assessment from last year, collecting collecting more dollars from the same assessed value. Now, by doing those reassessments, you're basically, like I said before, evening out that distribution. And as the assessed value of the average home goes up, you'll see that increase. So that increase, if that assessed value stayed the same as last year, that $57 will be significantly higher than the 56.
It's hard for people to understand that.
No, it's hard. It is hard to understand. It's like, wait a minute, we're collecting more money, but it's less.
Everybody freaks out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, basically what the reassessment does, it doesn't really, it doesn't necessarily mean the borough's collecting more money from the reassessment. It just, it evens out who's paying it. Right. So in a perfect world, you would have some people who are going up because their, reassessment might have had a lower value than it was. It was overvalued. You might have some that are going up and you have some that stay even. So that's really what the reassessment does. It doesn't really generate more money for the town. It just evens out who you're collecting, making it more fair on who you're collecting it from. Okay, so all in all, I think, a very, very positive budget. I mean, from a financial standpoint, the borough's in solid condition. Your surplus is in a good spot. You're well below the state caps. And, there's nothing in this budget that, really is going to negatively impact future budgets. So I think it's a very responsible budget. And I think the administration, the mayor and council should be commended.
Very much. Thank you. So I'd like to open up the meeting to the public. If anybody has any questions about the budget, please come up and state your name and your address.
Don Whittam, 27 Byron Court. My question is, when did we move as a town to annual assessments?
I think it was 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago.
I think it's 3 years ago.
We might be on our third year.
Third year of annual.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
thrown, but I don't know, maybe I missed that. Was there a big announcement about that at the time, or?
So you should be getting actually.
I do get those
parts of
letters,
the mail.
yeah.
And then what we did, because there was a lot of confusion, is that we even made out kind of like a sheet to explain to everybody what we're doing. So it's everybody gets assessed every single year.
Right.
But it's every fourth year you get the full assessment, which means they actually go into your house and then they look at things, but everybody gets an assessment every year. So that's what keeps all the values the same. Before we did this, we would have an assessment like maybe every 3 years, and of
Right.
course people would do additions and it would be all over the place. And then some people would have these massive spikes.
Right.
So other people were kind of carrying the weight for other people. So this way it is more fair.
Mhm.
And if the market goes down, then all the assessments are going to go down. It's just the market has been going up and up. So everybody's houses have been going up and up. But it's just important to know that our taxes are trying, the municipal piece of it anyway, we're still keeping our municipal piece stable and flat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions on the budget? Come on up, Walter.
Walter Woodruff, 30 Hamilton. As with everything else that I've seen since I've been coming to these meetings, the bottom line is you, our trust in you to guide us and to do the proper jobs to maintain everything in Allendale. And I just have to say thank you.
Oh.
You guys are fantastic from what I've seen, and I have no complaints. I just wish the hell I knew more.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you very much, Walter. We take our job very seriously, and everybody up here, we love Allendale, and we're all working very hard, for Allendale. We're all residents too. We all have vested interest in this town. So it's nice to get a thank you every once in a while. It means a lot. So thanks so much. All right, anybody else?
Sorry for having forgotten this. That man deserves a lot.
We'll give
He
him,
does a lot of
we'll give
work.
him a raise, the same amount.
I-
Yeah,
amount.
all right. We'll give it the same raise as us.
I joined because of him, and I had to do my little bit to help make it a success. My hat is off to you. You're a good man.
And Walter, thank you. Thank you for jumping into the green team. Also, you know, being part of giving blood on that day at the firehouse. You really are an important part of this community, and we thank you.
Also, thank you for coming and being part of our meetings. It's an important process of the town, as well as Sharice and everyone. It's important to be here.
All right, so next we are actually going to vote on our budget. So, resolution 24-130, Linda, will you please read the budget by title only? Sorry, I know, I'm skipping around.
Sorry. Resolution, adopted.
24-130, yeah.
130?
Yep.
All right. Okay. That's the resolution to read the budget by title only.
You want me to read it?
What, yeah, okay.
So, authorization for municipal budget to be read by title only, whereas the budget as advertised shall be read in full or may be read by title if the following conditions have been met. At least 1 week prior to the date of the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget shall be made available to each person requesting the same, and the governing body shall, by resolution passed by not less than a majority of the full membership, determine that the budget shall be read by title only. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second,
Roll call.
Councilman Delavatio.
yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
And next we have resolution 24-130 to adopt the local municipal budget.
131.
I'm sorry, 131. So this is the adoption of the municipal budget. May it be resolved that the mayor and council of the borough of Allendale, state of New Jersey, that the budget herein be set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated in the sums therein set forth. The appropriations and authorization in the amount of $11,073,352 for municipal purposes, $108,281 for open space trust fund levy, and $736,932 for the minimum library tax. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Lovasolo.
Second,
Second,
roll call.
Councilman Delavatio.
yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
All righty, so next we have second reading of ordinance 24-05. So this is the ordinance to exceed the municipal cap setting at 3.5. So this is second reading. The following ordinance was published and was read by title at the April 11th meeting. And this is the second reading, and I'd like to open it up to the public. Does anybody have anything to say on ordinance 24-05? Not seeing anyone? Do I have a motion for ordinance 24-05?
I'll make the motion.
All right, second, please.
Second. Oh,
Suzanne.
Tyler.
Suzanne.
Okay, me.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
All righty, next we have introduction to ordinance 24-06. So this is our capital budget. So these,
Thank you.
Thank you.
this budget is for various public improvements, equipment, additional furnishings, automated vehicles, et cetera, that are in our capital budget.
I'll read the title.
Will you please read this?
Mhm. First a motion and then
Okay, do I have a motion to approve ordinance 24-06?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
ordinance 24-06, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new communication and signal systems equipment, new information technology equipment, new additional furnishings, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Allendale in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,636,200 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment or fully fund appropriations from the Capital Improvement Fund, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriations, to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, and amend bond ordinance number 23-09 adopted on May 11th, 2023.
Perfect, thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda. These are matters that are considered routine, but I do like to point out some to look at all the great work we've all been doing. So Resolution 132, this is our ADA firehouse. We have a change order here, so we're very happy to provide this ADA bathroom for our firefighters. Resolution 133, the purchase of a roll-off truck. Finally, yay! This is actually from last year's budget, so this is in the works. So Andy coming on board, really thank you so much for explaining to us, you know, how we really need this to keep the borough and our DPW functioning. 134, we have the authorization of Crestwood Lake salary, so we are getting closer to opening day. And then we have Resolution 135, so this is to allow our tax collector to prepare estimated tax bills. The reason they are estimated is because the county has not been able to certify their taxes yet because of delays with the state. Happens quite often. Resolution 137 is we are actually going to phases 5 and 6 on our streetscape. So this is going to take our streetscape down DeMercurio Drive and then also up past the train station on the other side by the clock. And after this, we should have one more phase and then we should be done with our streetscape. And it is looking beautiful in our downtown. All right, and then we have our list of bills. Councilwoman Lovasolo, did you have a chance to look at our list of bills?
I did.
Thank you very much. I did as well. And then Resolution 139, we have a change of professional services for our special tax counsel, whose name is Levi Cool, and that is his real name. And we're keeping him, he's just changing firm. So I'd like to open the meeting to the public for anybody who has any questions or comments on our consent agenda. Not seeing anybody. I'd like to bring it back, and we have our count.
Any motion?
I'm sorry, motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Delavatio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Mayor, can I just back up for 1 minute
Of
on the introduction of ordinance 24-06?
Mhm.
I don't know if I read the public hearing date, so the public hearing for ordinance 24-06 will be May 23rd, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter at the Allendale Municipal Building.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're doing roll call, or did we? We did? Got it, okay. Alrighty, council reports. Yakarino, look at him. all excited.
I know, my goodness.
Thank you,
Rub
Mayor.
his hands.
We're ready to rock and roll. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mayor.
wait till you get his report.
Here it is. We are nearing, as we noted, the beginning of the Crestwood Lake season, but even though we haven't opened the season yet, the clerk's office has been hard at work signing folks up for the lake, folks returning new folks for this year. So we're really excited to get going. As always, I say it every meeting, but without Andy and the DPW, a lot of this would not happen. So thank you to you and your guys for really readying the lake and also for all your work throughout town. I know that the residents are very happy. You know, John had posted a picture of the lake.
Yeah, that was
And the
gorgeous.
comments from the residents were so positive to the DPW. It's probably be good to share those with the guys as well. You know, Andy and I did speak today, so the paperwork to Agra was submitted with regard to the lake testing as we do yearly. So we're just waiting on a date for the sample. All other paper that was needed with the county health department has been submitted, which is one of the things that we've been very diligent making sure has been completed. Thank you to Andy for taking care of that. Also, with regard to the concession stand project, as previously noted, we are going to continue on with the bathrooms and the showers as they currently are in the concession stand. And this was due in part to evaluation of the structure and evaluation of other opportunities. And we felt that this was the most effective solution while not spending an egregious amount of money.
Thank you.
Yes. And as such, all repairs have been completed and also in accordance with the county guidelines that we've worked with the county to make sure that everything is proper and suited for the season for the concession stand. Also, for the band shell, new wiring was completed. So as we enjoy Crestwood Lake band nights, the wiring will be sufficient if we want to have a concert, if we'd like to. So we're ready.
We're
with
gonna
the
have
wiring.
concert.
Also, moving on with Borough Hall, the carpeting, as we've noted, has been installed, as well as other improvements. Allison has been instrumental in moving this project along, and it looks great. I really don't have any, yeah, the first word that comes to mind is everybody's very happy with the upgrades. They're noticeable and they're much appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
And I just
record.
wanted to,
Get the hook.
and I just quickly wanted to,
The hook.
just quickly touch that registration for Crestwood as of this afternoon is 386, and I wanted to commend the finance team on this year's budget. So that'll be.
Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
So my report tonight, even though it's still,
longer than
I don't know, but it's made easier because two things were already brought up tonight. The first was our budget. Many thanks to our auditors for tonight's presentation. And as always, immense thanks to our CFO, Allison Altano, who's been with us for a little over a year and yet completely dove in, figured things out, streamlined and organized all of us into what I think is becoming a very well-oiled machine. So Allison, thank you. You are phenomenal. I also want to thank her and John Gill and everyone involved with sending out that special edition budget newsletter that everyone received. Hopefully it helped to kind of clarify things in advance of tonight's meeting. The second item is our green team and our Borough Spring Cleaning Environmental Day. Many, many thanks to the green team and all the volunteers who Mark highlighted tonight on another successful event. This now annual event was started as a borough initiative 3 years ago and continues to grow each year. Thank you, Mark, for chairing the team and for all you do to raise awareness around sustainability and environmental concerns that are shared by all of us. So our Land Use Committee. Our Land Use Committee met on April 30th, as always, to discuss the topics and concerns that matter most to our residents in the borough in regard to property and land issues. We start each meeting discussing residential property issues that slowly and surely are slowly being resolved one by one. The familiar refrain of flooding problems and tree questions continue to echo throughout our monthly meetings. I'd like to remind people that not every tree on your property by the curb is a tree that the borough planted. Most are not, and therefore most are the responsibility to maintain and if need be to be removed by the property owner. To help the borough identify and catalog our trees, we are creating a new and improved shade tree committee. We have asked former Councilman Jim Strouch to help lead this endeavor, and we have a few people already interested in being a part of it. If you too would like to be a part of the shade tree committee, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Jim and let us know. There are also some ongoing borough projects and forthcoming ones that we are discussing. As always, we value the input of our residents and continue to encourage everyone to reach out directly to your mayor, to your council, and to our borough team. Our library. In our continued partnership with the Lee Memorial Library, I report out at the first council meeting of the month some of the exciting updates and programs going on at the library. For the month of May, the library is pleased to announce that it hired a new programming and outreach librarian. His name is Ethan Gavin. His first day was May 6th, and he has held various librarian positions in several libraries over the past 20 years. He looks forward to getting to know the Allendale community, so make sure you drop by and say hi to him. Once again, his name is Ethan. For the kids in May, there is a Create, Adopt an Imaginary Pet program on May 14th, and the Silent Book Club is on May 17th. For the adults, tonight was the important Navigating the Streaming Maze event.
That's what's going on there.
That's what's going on there. And the library wants to remind everyone that tomorrow night, Friday the 10th, it will be holding a newcomers and neighbors social event from 7 until 9 p.m. So the newcomers are for new families moving in town so they can meet other new families and get to know the library. And the neighbors are all the rest of us. So it's really open to everyone. So if you want to stop by the library, 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow night. And also, finally, the library hosts a dementia caregiver support group every month on the last Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. And all are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Delvezio.
Boy, my report's gonna be small compared to those two.
Good.
So, DPW committee, Andy and I had a meeting earlier this week. The guys are doing a great job, as always. Thank you, Andy, as I say every month. I know you're getting tired of hearing that, but doing a good job and appreciate it. Appreciate the guys' effort. So our temporary hire, I did have the opportunity to see him, and he's working very hard. So glad to see he's on board, along with the rest of the guys who are also working very hard. They're diligently preparing Crestwood, right? The water's there, and they're getting everything ready for opening season. The bathrooms, as Tyler had mentioned, he took most of my report. The bathrooms are up and running, fountains up and running. Fields, continuing to maintain the fields in town, baseball and softball fields. That's an ongoing process. Andy's still continuing to deal with the resident issues and responding in kind, and I appreciate your sensitivity and the way you do that. It's appreciative, and I'm sure the residents appreciate that too. I'm happy that the budget has passed, so we're gonna finally get the roll off and have the opportunity to start replacing some of our deteriorated equipment that's also in our capital budget as we move forward throughout the year. And that's pretty much it. Short and sweet.
Council President O'Toole.
I too have a short report this evening.
We're over on that side of the dice.
You guys. So the Public Safety Committee will meet for our monthly meeting next Tuesday. But earlier this week, we met with Fire Chief Baez to discuss a plethora of fire department related items. There's a follow-up meeting to the one that we had last month, which was to see how the borough could best lend assistance to the fire department for the purpose of attracting and retaining members. So we're still looking at some out-of-the-box solutions, which should be assisting them to bring people in. And then just the other night, we had a similar meeting with Chief Pitaro of the Allendale Ambulance Corps. They're having particular trouble finding volunteers during the day. So we're looking for ways to get the word out through our official borough channels, same way we're doing for the fire department. So there is a tremendous need for volunteers. If anyone is available during the day, go out to the fire department or to the ambulance corps and introduce yourself, and they will put you right to work. And finally, the Run, Hide, Fight program that was previously offered to residents will be offered again for businesses, again in town here at Borough Hall on May 22nd at 10 a.m. And I yield the rest of my time to Councilman Yankarino.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do
thank
have
you.
more in my report that I didn't say.
That's okay. Alrighty, staff reports, CFO/VA, Allison Altana.
So the most important item tonight is obviously the budget being adopted. The finance committee and myself have worked very hard. A lot of it started last year where we started projecting a little bit more into future years. So last year, we knew that certain increases were going to occur this year, and we made it a point to make sure we appropriated certain funds accordingly last year in order to prepare for this year. And luckily, we were very successful, and we were able to still keep it below a 1% increase of average home for 2024. We're always thinking, years ahead, making sure we plan for what we know or what could potentially occur. And it's important to continuously think about the future, and collectively the finance committee has done a great job, and overall the budget is in great shape. This year, as Councilwoman Lovasolo mentioned, we issued our first Allendale Happening budget edition newsletter. This was sent out to all our residents. The purpose of it was we wanted to make sure the residents were more informed on the budget, how your tax dollars are allocated, how the tax rate is broken down between municipality, library, county, and school taxes. So hopefully it was beneficial to everyone and a little more simplified than the actual budget document. I do want to say thank you to the Finance Committee and to Mayor Lisinski for contributing so much of your time to the budget. As the mayor mentioned, the estimated tax bills will be going out. Chances are you'll be getting them around the middle of June for the third quarter of 2024. Final tax bills are expected to go out sometime in August once we receive the final tax rate from the county. And that's about it for tonight. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Our clerk, Linda.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to let everyone know, all financial disclosure statements were filed by May 1st.
100%. Everybody?
Mhm.
Good job, everybody.
Go to jail, we didn't do.
How to threaten.
The last,
Jail time.
the last
Yeah.
data registered to vote for June 4th primary is May 14th. The clerk's office will be open until 9 p.m. for late night voter registrations, as well as registration for Crestwood Lake, compost permits, dog, cat license, and all of your clerk office needs. I also want to, I was on vacation for a week, then came back on a Monday and out again the rest of the week in order to attend the clerk's conference in Atlantic City. So I want to thank the clerk's office for running the clerk's office smoothly in my absence. I also want to thank John Gill for stepping in for me as acting clerk while I attended the clerk's conference. The day of the meeting, in between classes, I was sending him, instructions and things to the printer. And every single time I sent him something, he says, done, done.
It's a good feeling.
So it's just nice to know that you have staff that you can rely on in your absence, so that the borough business can continue without interruption. And also, lastly, I was advised that Allendale is in desperate need of board workers for this upcoming election. Ramapo College was sent a flyer to try to recruit, as well as a flyer was sent to Northern Highlands, where it was sent to all the government classes, and Thomas Walsh spoke to the teachers about sharing the opportunity with the students. So hopefully we can get some,
Yeah.
they're only allowed to work between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. And
Oh.
yes, and it's $160, and I believe they pay for the training $50.
Oh, they have to go to
So that's
training.
for the primary and the general, or just for the primary?
Well,
one?
for the primary first.
Yeah, one at a time.
Yeah.
Get this one done.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, I try to push for more training for some of the current board workers.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot of training with this new system. Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you very much. DPW Supervisor Andy Gugliero.
Thank you. Just an update, Franklin Turnpike 88 curb ramp improvements will begin on Monday, the 13th. They're gonna start from the Wolvick border and go to the Ramsey border. And after that, we're anticipating the road resurfacing program to start on or about the beginning of June. In the same fashion, the 88 curb projects go. Once we have firm details on it, we'll send them out. Operation Open Crestwood Lake obviously is in full swing. DPW staff's been
Did
working
you just say
extremely
it's
hard.
Operation Crestwood Lake?
Open Crestwood Lake.
Perfect.
DPW staff's been working really hard to get the lake open for the summer and Memorial Day. The lake has been filled and the fountain's on. I just want to remind everybody that just because there's water in the lake is closed. Nobody should be swimming in it right now. There's no lifeguards present. DPW staff continues to go around town, sprucing it up for Memorial Day and the parade. I would just like, on behalf of myself and my staff, just want to say thank you very much to the mayor and council and Allison as well for approving the roll-off purchase. Very much needed, and I thank you. And also, same regards to Drew. Drew's a huge help, and he's a really hard worker.
Super.
So, thank you.
Perfect. Borough Attorney Ray Witt.
Thank you, Mayor. Busy couple of weeks, a lot on the agenda and a lot sort of in motion. Been working with Chief Dillon on certain departmental matters, both personnel and policy matters. With as Councilman O'Toole mentioned, with the Public Safety Committee on certain issues involving the fire department. And I guess also with respect to the ambulance corps building, hopefully we're finally maybe getting a lease in place there. We've had a couple issues involving the library, and we're sorting those out together, hopefully on a collegial basis. We had aborted labor negotiations with our Teamsters unit, which apparently forgot to show up in our negotiations. But hopefully we've now got an item on the calendar, and we'll be able to move that along and hopefully get closure. I think everybody'd like to have the contract buttoned up. Tom Borgia from my office has continued to work on the cell tower. I think the new date for the bid opening is June 5th, if I recall the correct date. The aftermath of the sale of the water utility to Veolia, obviously a lot of work going on with respect to easements, as I reported previously. And also, we've got the Green Acres issue to go. And the Green Acres issue is important because of the money that is being withheld on account of the purchase. That's the biggest component to get back in the budget and to make Allison happy. But I think most recently we've reached agreement with Veolia on the portion of the DPW site that they will be taking and the portion that will remain the borough's property. And the intention there is to take the borough component of that site and to dedicate it as Green Acres open space. And hopefully that will give us the release from Green Acres and will in turn take that escrow money and move it into the borough's coffers as opposed to an escrow account. On the PK litigation, I have a case management conference on Monday before the judge. And then on Thursday, I'm scheduled to take the first deposition in the case. That's one of the principles of PK. And I think that that will probably go a long way to seeing whether we are another year of litigation or whether they may want to come to the table a little bit earlier than that. So that's on the tap. And then been working with the mayor and Councilwoman Holman on issues involving our neighbors in Saddle River. As you know, Saddle River does not have their own wastewater facilities and sewer lines. They're dependent on running it through either Allendale or in some cases Waldwick. But there is a rather large project pending in Saddle River adjacent to our border. And we're anticipating some dialogue with both Saddle River and the applicant for that development. And there are significant questions about our own capacity to handle that project. And also, as everyone knows, next year, 2025, is the fourth round of affordable housing obligations. So Allendale has to have its own concerns about what projects we may be obligated to build in the future and may need our own sewer service to take care of ourselves. That's it, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. And then I'll just give my report. Our community center is really moving along. I think I would like to do a video of it and explain to everybody again. People are starting to get excited. People are already asking if they can use it and when they can use it. So we haven't even worked all of that out yet, but it's really looking wonderful. And then when you actually go inside, you can see the room. So it's a lot of fun. So we're still looking to work out all the logistics because the way that it's going to be used is based on how the community is going to need it. So that is going to have to unfold because I think a lot more people may be using it than use this space here. Currently, this is the only space that the community has. So it will be interesting, but I think we're going to get ahead of it as much as we can. We have our second of our series of town halls next Tuesday, May 14th. We look forward to this. I think we had about 40 or 50 people at our last town hall. Most people come to the town hall instead of our council meetings for I think just because it's a more casual setting. We are going to talk about the fair share housing issue because that is a topic that has been on a lot of people's minds, and I think it's very important for Allendale residents to be educated on this. We will also open it up to just regular question and answer. So we will have, if not a full council, most of the council here, and we'll be in this room, casual, not up on the dais, no formal agenda, but we will be talking about the fair share housing, which is also the topic on Saturday at my very first mayor's meeting that is going to be here. And thank you, Allison, for getting the room all spruced up right just in time for it. So it's the Northwest Bergen Mayors. We meet once a month, and this topic, there is going to be an attorney who actually specializes in it. So We're still working everything out. The new law just passed, so everybody's still kind of reeling over everything and just waiting for our new numbers, which are going to be massive and higher than they were last time. Next week, we're going to a mayor's conference. Councilwoman Lovasolo is going. This will be also my first mayor's conference. So I always think this is really important. You learn from other municipalities, see what everybody's doing, and leverage whatever we can to make Allendale, whatever can benefit Allendale. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will be good, and there'll be some good speakers. Thank you again, everybody, for the budget. The budget is always the most important topic that we have in the municipality. This is also the most important meeting. You can see a lot of people don't come. I don't know if that's because we're doing such a great job and the budget it works. The budget newsletter, I think, was super this year. That was the first year we did the budget newsletter. So thanks so much for getting that out. We try to make it like as user-friendly as possible, and I think we did a good job doing that. So I think that's something that we're gonna continue. So I really appreciate getting that out in such a timely manner. Opening day, thanks so much, Andy, and everybody for getting the fields ready. I actually ran into Richie at the wholesale nursery. I was getting stuff for myself, and I saw him, so I pointed out some baskets and everything for the lake, as well as a palm tree. So he'll be picking that up tomorrow, I think. Also 9/11, we're actually sprucing up the 9/11 area. So we have new pavers coming in. He was supposed to start today or tomorrow, but because of the rain, I think it's pushed off a little bit. So all of the bluestone pavers that have gotten a little bit wear and tear, we're going to replace with the granite ones that we have there. And a lot of that was actually a donation that we had from the original 9/11 construction. So, and lastly, the mural is moving along. Thank you to Andy and the DPW for letting Simon work down there. So he's working on some more of the components. So there's going to be a big fundraiser on June 15th where we're going to close down Main Street, and the restaurants will all participate. So we'll be pushing out that information soon. And that's it, I think, for me for now. Okay, any unfinished or new business? I will. And next I'd like to open to the public on any matter. So anybody from the public wish to speak on any matters? Anything you want? Not seeing anybody? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.